Now we are activating the tracker for to take a few seconds to load, and then we can proceed to make good use of it to help at home and in schools and ourselves as we make informed choices. Now, so the tracker has loaded, and says you may have enable content at the top. If you have something like that, you just have to click on enable content to the effective use of the tracker. Now on the home page, you can see about 11 buttons. Each has an important use as far as the tracker and its effectiveness is concerned. For each new start, you need to go to the start here. Once you click the button, it takes you to this interface where you enter the names and index numbers of the candidates. For this tutorial purposes, we'll enter only the name of a candidate. We are using Kofi Mensah. We are also assuming that Kofi Mensah is writing the BECE in 2026. And so we come to the right side of the dashboard and we click on the section where the 2025 has been entered and change it to 2026. Now, we are also going to enter the number of BECE mocks the candidate has written. For the purposes of this demonstration, we would assume that the candidate has written 2 BECE mock exams, which we are about to enter. And so we change the 1 to 2. Once we do this, we save. We save the entry. Now we can proceed, and we are going back to the quick access using the buttons. Once we click on the button, it takes us to the home page, which is the quick access. Now we want to enter the scores for the first mock exams the candidate took. If you're a parent who has bought this board, for instance, you can use it to keep track of his or her performance as far as the school mocks are concerned, and then his or her performance as far as the BECE home mock administered by Education News Consult is also concerned, to be able to track your child's performance between home mock and school mock to help you make informed choices. And so we're going to enter mock 1. We click on mock 1, it takes you to the mock 1 interface. We can see Kofi Mensah's name has popped up already. We enter the scores. These are dummies to help explain how the system is. So we've entered the scores for all the 10 subjects Kofi Mensah is expected to write. Per the entries we've made, his raw score is 461 out of 600 because the system picks the 4 courses, the best 2 from the remaining 6 and sums it up for you. Now, on the right side, you will find go to grades. At the top of the raw score, you find go to grades. When you click on it, it takes you to the grading section where we see the grades obtained by Kofi Mensah in the mock 1. You notice that he obtained 5 in English, 2 in maths, 2 in social, 1 in science, 7 in RME, 9 in computing, 7 in creative arts and design, 7 in career technology, 2 in Ghanaian language, 6 in French. On the right side of that entry, there's a section. This is the only place where you find weak subject areas as heading. In the subsequent mock pages, the weak subject areas will not be there, but you would know that that represents the weak subject areas. Now, for mock 1 that Kofi Mensah has taken, his weakest subject is computing. and that is indicated under weak subjects. Now, the remaining subjects, the remaining candidates have not written any mock yet per the entries we've made. So their default score is 9 for all subjects. Again, when you come to the weak subject areas, you find out that each of them has English and mathematics as the weakest subjects. This is put there for a good reason. The reason is that when a candidate obtains grade 9 in English and or mathematics, he or she will not be placed in any of the schools selected, irrespective of the fact that he or she might have obtained grade 1 in all the other 8 subjects. And so it's there as a reminder for parents, teachers, and the candidates themselves. Now, we go back to the raw scores for this mock 1, and then we go to mock 2, 3. Let's see what happens here. 80, 87, 50, 78, 75, 65, 64, 52, 48, 75. So we've entered another set of raw scores for Kofi Mensah. This time around, his raw score adds up to 410. We are going to do some changes so that we can get a certain result we need. So we are changing science to 15. We are changing RME to 65. We are changing, let's say, French to 48, just for this explanation. Now, you notice that Kofi Mensah's raw score for this second mock is 327. Now, if you go to the grades, the arrow there, go to grades. When you click on go to grades arrow just above the raw score, it takes you to the grades. It tells you the respective grades he scored for each of the subjects. Now, when you look at the weak subject areas, which is the yellow section, you'll find out that this time around, Kofi Mensah has 2 subjects, science, social studies, and science, as his weak subjects. How is that so? Let's go back to raw scores and look at science and social studies. He scored 15 in both. So the system is able to dictate the 2 lowest subjects in terms of performance for the student and would pull them out in the weak subject area indicated here. Now we are going back to the access page. Let's go to first choice. Now on this page, what happens is that the system provides you back on the category from which the candidate should choose his or her first choice. And it uses only one mock at a time. So the first one you see on the extreme left is category A. That is mock 1. Category A school based on the raw score. The second one is category C. That is the first choice category the student should be choosing schools from, and not A and B, based on the raw score. Now, if you come to the extreme end, you will see first choice from 2 mocks. What this means is that the average of Kofi Mensah's mock 1 and 2 raw scores is used to determine this. And then the next one will be the average of Kofi Mensah's 3 mocks, which will be used to determine the first choice if he is not going to write all 5 mocks for the purposes of identifying all the 5 schools or school categories from which his 5 school choices should be made. Then this can be very, very useful. So if Kofi writes, let's say, only 2 mocks ahead of the BECE, based on that mock, we can say that choice should come from category B schools and not category A schools. Now let's go back to quick access again. If you go to school smart system within the pack, you are supposed to see the 5 categories from which